We dive into the PJ Pick 5. We'll start with college football first. We're 6-4 on the season. We went 2-3 last week. So let's bounce back, have a winning week. Maybe even go 4-1, 5-0. Let's start with the Florida Gators this week. Minus 17.5 against South Florida. We've been talking about this game a little bit this week. I think so many people who saw South Florida, Boise last Thursday night, right? USF just absolutely smoked them at home. But this is the difficult part about handicapping week 2. Was it more about what USF did, or was it more about what Boise didn't do? I think it's the latter. I think Boise just looks inept on offense without Ashton Genty, especially going up against a good team. Now, if you're South Florida, you got to face a top 10, probably talent roster in college football. Gators got NFL guys all over the field. They have one of the best quarterbacks in college football in DJ Lagway. Big step up in class. That's a lot of points until it isn't. I'd keep an eye on Florida. And like I mentioned earlier, USF, right, their head coach, Alec Golish, comes from that Josh Heupel, Tennessee coaching tree. Florida faces the Vols every year. They'll be prepared for that offense. Give me Florida, minus 17.5. I'll also take Navy, minus 21 against UAB this weekend. UAB just gave up 520 yards to Alabama State in week 1. Now they got to go up against Navy and what they want to do and how they run the football. Like, how do you think that's going to go? Trent Dilfer, I think this experiment in Birmingham's not working out too great for the Blazers. Navy's going to be one of the better teams in the American. I think they're going to run all over UAB this weekend. We'll lay the 3 touchdowns with the midshipmen. How about Rutgers? 3 big spreads for me. Not used to doing that, but that's what we do early on in the college football season. I like Rutgers, minus 15.5 against Miami, Ohio. The Red Hawks in week 1 against Wisconsin were shut out. They crossed the 50-yard line one time. Their offense is going to be a mess early in the season, especially going up against Big Ten teams. They don't return a single starter from their team last year, and their offensive line has a combined 3 starts before that Wisconsin game. It was ugly week 1. I think it's going to be ugly again tomorrow. Lay the 15.5 with Rutgers against Miami of Ohio. How about Missouri State? We have been on this game from the beginning of the week, and we're not getting off now. They're down to 8.5 at some spots. The professionals like Missouri State, folks. These aren't your public Joes betting Missouri State. These are some people that have some big pockets and know what they're doing, and I agree with them. I like Missouri State. First off, it's a fade of Marshall, who's coming off playing Georgia last week, who's probably still beaten up and feeling the effects of that. Marshall has 60 new players on their team from last season because their head coach went to Southern Miss, brand new coaching staff, brand new roster. And Missouri State gave up 73 to USC last week. I think a bunch of people are going to see that and think they're going to get smoked again by Marshall. But when you're going up against Lincoln Riley and all that NFL talent on USC, and also a good defense, one of the best defensive coordinators in D'Anton Lynn, I think it made Missouri State look a lot worse than they actually were. I actually came away impressed with Missouri State, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I think they're alive in this game. We'll take Missouri State plus the 9.5. And then finally, Illinois-Duke. Let's take the under in that game, 49.5. That should be a good one on Saturday. Could be a trap game for the Illini. Brett Bielema, since he has been in Champaign, 8-3 to the under in non-conference Power 4 games. These games tend to be lower scoring. They tend to be like 1st to 20 type games. Illinois returns all 5 of their offensive linemen, but they did not look particularly strong against Western Illinois in week 1. Now they got to go up against the Manny Diaz defense, and usually Duke under Manny Diaz in these kind of big games when they're going up against top 15, top 10 teams, really don't score all that much. I'm going to take under 49 in Illinois and Duke. So those are our 5 this week. Florida, Navy, Rutgers, 3 big favorites. Missouri State plus the points, and Duke, Illinois under 49.5. All right, let's get to the NFL. Look at week 1, first Sunday of the year, baby. It is back. And look, Henry talked about how he loved the Dolphins. I know a lot of smart people are on the Dolphins this week against Indianapolis. And you've heard a lot of them say, I don't understand this line. Well, I can tell you why this line is Colts -1, baby. It's the Jim Irsay effect. It's the narrative play of the week. Colts are going to be at home. There's going to be a lot of emotion in that building. The fans, the stadium should be rocking. The Colts, I think, improved their defense a lot this offseason. And Daniel Jones isn't good. We all know this, but he's going up against probably the worst secondary in the NFL. I think he'll be able to make some plays. I also think Jonathan Taylor running the football could negate that pass rush for the Dolphins, which is the strength of their defense. So Indy, I think, is going to take care of business on Sunday for their passing of their owner, Jim Irsay. I like the Colts -1. What about the Saints? Man, love the Saints. +6.5 against Arizona on Sunday. I'd take some money line with New Orleans in the game as well. Kyler Murray is 15-17 straight up as a favorite in the NFL. So more often than not, when he's favored, he's losing those games. We talked about it all week. Week 1 in the Superdome, going to be a lot different than week 14 in the Superdome when the Saints are like 3-10 or whatever it is. But in week 1, when it's a new season and there's hope and every team feels like they have a chance and Kamara's healthy and Olave's healthy, I like the Saints +6.5. It's dangerous to take teams like the Cardinals who are not used to laying that many points on the road in an NFL game, especially in week 1. So I'll take New Orleans plus the points. What about the Raiders +2.5? You guys know I love the Raiders this season, and I'm really down on the Patriots. Nobody's talking about the fact that Drake May is 1-9 in the NFL as a starting quarterback. 1-9. His team is favored in 11 games this season. Their win total is 8.5. Drake May has Justin Fields vibes to me, Chicago Bears vibes to me, where we're just hyping this team because they play in a big market. They had a coaching change. Everybody's excited about the upside of the quarterback. How about we watch it play out first? Drake May absolutely could be a really good quarterback, could be a superstar. He's nowhere near that yet. Let's see him play some games out, especially as a favorite, which he's not used to doing. Vegas made an upgrade at the 2 most important positions in the NFL in the offseason, quarterback and head coach. They got Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, rookie running back in Ashton Genty. Bowers is a terrific young tight end. I'll take the Raiders +2.5 against New England. How about the New York Football Giants +6 against the Commanders? I'm with Henry on this one. I gave you guys the stat yesterday, man, and how about it hit again last night in Eagles and Cowboys? I'll say it once more time. We've now had 26 instances of this over the last 20 years, and it only applies to week 1. You get a divisional matchup, team that didn't make the playoffs versus a team that did make the playoffs, and the team that missed the playoffs got swept by the team last year. So you had the Eagles and Cowboys yesterday. Philly makes the playoffs. Dallas doesn't. Eagles sweep them in the regular season last year. So you bet Dallas. They cover the spread. Same deal with the Giants and the Commanders. And usually the Giants always play Washington tough in D.C. They should have won both of those games last year, like Henry was talking about. Love the Giants +6 against the Commanders. And then finally, Bears +1.5 against the Vikings on Monday. J.J. McCarthy in his first start on the road, divisional game in prime time, and he's a favorite. I'm not buying it. Give me Chicago +1.5. Home divisional underdogs 18-4 against the spread since 2012. So a very strong trend there. Backing up the Bears. There's our first NFL Pick 5 of the season. Colts, Saints, Raiders, Giants, and Bears.